Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. I am CS the Viking Gamer. Last week on Painting Tuesdays we did some lovely archways, doorways, walkways, and bridges. This week we're going to tackle some barricades. So today we're going to be using a mixture of Basilicum Grey, Skeletal Horde, Contrast Wildwood, Black Templar, Snakebite Leather, a couple of washes, some Agrax Earthshade and Null Oil, as well as some Wraithbone, Leadbelcher, Auric Armor Gold, Balthazar Gold, Corn Red, Grey Knight Steel, and Stormhost Silver. So we start things off with the Contrast Wildwood on all of the wooden planks, logs, and spikes. I'm going a little bit heavy with the paint because I wanted a kind of dark wood look to it. I had to switch to a different brush with a finer tip to be able to paint in between the bits of the skeleton and around a couple of the other small details. Once the first side was done, I flipped it over and started on the other side. The most difficult part about pieces like this is if you don't want to have to go back and do a dozen or so touch-ups over areas that paint is bled and crossed over into other areas, is that you have to be very cautious about any of the finer details that you want to paint a different color. Alright, and once that's dried a little bit, we go over all of the little chaos stars with Black Templar contrast paint. This gives it a real nice color difference from the wood, and just lets it stand out a little bit but doesn't overpower the wood itself. Alright, and now a couple of quick spots with Basilicum Grey to give a nice stone look on anything along the base that had a kind of stone feature. And now Skeletal Horde gives a quick coating on the skeleton and all of the skulls. I had to take care not to get any of the bindings with the Skeletal Horde because those are going to get a different color later. Now in first application it looks a little yellow, but once it dries it really does have that aged bone look to it. Alright, and now for all the bindings we're going to use Snakebite Leather, and once this gets a wash it really does look like aged bindings or leather wraps. Alright, so for now we're going to set that piece aside to dry, and this piece I really wanted to tackle the weapon rack in front. So we're starting things off with Lead Belcher, just hitting up any of the major areas that I didn't think needed any massive contrast or detail painting. Alright, so now we're hitting the sides of this one sword up, and we'll hit up a couple other swords with Stormhost Silver. I really wanted a couple of these that had some specific details to really stand out, like they were Enchanted or Elven Blade. And now that that's done, I took Grey Knight's Steel and hit up some of the cross guards and a couple of details. Because it's a steel color but has a blue tint to it, I thought it was a really nice accent color. Alright, so now going back to the snakebite leather, we're going to hit up all of the handle wraps. Because most swords do have a leather wrapping around the handle. Alright, and so now some Black Templar contrast paint is used on a couple of specific areas. I wanted the tops of the two Sigmar shields to be painted in this, as well as the spear points on all of the spears. Okay, and now we're going to paint this one Chaos Shield with Corn Red, because it really stands out to me as like a Berserker shield. Alright, and here we're going back with some more of the Lead Belcher, just kind of touching up areas that were missed and areas that I decided would look better with Lead Belcher as opposed to other paints. And again, I'm trying to take care not to hit areas with details. And now we take some Balthazar Gold and touch up any of the cross guards and some of the pommels. And as you can see, a lot of the swords and some of the details are really starting to come to life. We're also going to use this gold to hit up the entire corn symbol on the front of the shield. And honestly, looking back, I probably should have painted the Sigmar hammer after painting the front of the shield. Alright, so now we're going over a couple of details with Auric Armor Gold. This isn't so much a direct painting on some things, but more of a kind of light brushing, very heavy dry brush. Just to give that detail color to a couple of areas. Alright, now we're going back to the Grey Knight's Steel, and just kind of hitting up a couple of areas. Just little details that haven't been done yet. Alright, so now setting that piece aside to dry, we're going to grab our Agrax Earthshade Wash and go back to the first piece and hit up anything that is not painted in the Black Templar contrast. This will help darken all of the shadows in the log pieces, but also give the bone and the leather wraps an aged look. It also helps to give the stone work a little bit of a reddish tint to it, giving the appearance of dirt and grime. Going back to the other wall piece, we're going to hit up all of the stonework in the Agrax Earthshade, as well as the wooden planks and any skulls and bones that we find. And we're also going to take care not to hit any of the weapons or shields on the wall. Because right here, we're hitting over all of those pieces with just a quick coating of null oil. This will give it a nice aged look and help darken any shadows. It'll also help cover up any areas that we missed. Alright, and here is the finished product. So, thank you everyone for tuning into the channel. Please like, comment, and subscribe for future content. We will be releasing painting videos every Tuesday, well, hopefully every Tuesday, going forward. Really hope that you guys enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun painting it. This is CS the Viking Gamer, signing off. Victory or Valhalla.